Hey, this is Bob the Cigar Guy, Travelers Rest, South Carolina. And as you can see in the Smoke Easy Studios, I am sitting in the shade and I will soon be smoking a shade, the Hoyo De Monterrey shade, Honduran Puro. Say it with me. Puro. That's right. Puro. Roll the R's. Why not? Puro, right? Puro. What does it mean? Well, in some countries, it just means cigar, but in most worlds and most definitions, puro means a cigar came, the whole thing, the binder, the filler, the wrapper, not the band, not the cellophane, but the binder, the filler, the wrapper. Everything you smoke comes from one country. And this country is Honduran. So it's got Honduran binder, Honduran filler, and a Honduran shade. Look at how gorgeous that is. That band is amazing. It is stately. I love that white and that red, that banging, that thing sitting in the humidor. It's going to look good. Now, I smoked this. I just got these just recently, and I couldn't wait. We're getting ready for Chief Talk every Thursday night at 8:15. Great live show, hour and a half, 2 hours long. You ought to jump on and watch. And so we were sitting in the green room basically before we shot the show. Sounds better to call it green room than just sitting in our desks. And we're talking about business and talking about stuff. And so I grabbed a cigar that we just got and I fired it up. And so I am telling you that the beginning of this cigar was extremely impressive. The rest of it is great too, but in the very beginning, it kind of hit me as an old school shade. It's got that sweetness to it. For a while, at least in my opinion, I'm toasting this up. That's why I'm not looking at you. For a while, it seemed like the shade variety was getting very grassy, very hay, very bittery. But this has that sweetness coming through. So let's talk about that real quick before I get into flavors. I'm going to smoke this down a little bit before I talk to you about it. I know what it tastes like, but you know what? If a cigar reviewer lights a cigar this far and he can tell you everything about it, you better hope that he's already smoked it, because if not, he's reading off, or she, let me not be gender specific, they are reading off a script, or they're looking at the flavor information. I believe in looking up the blend information, maybe interesting stories, but I don't read the blend information or watch other reviews before I review the cigar, because I don't want that to taint my experience when I'm sharing it with you. I'm not chewing up somebody else's food they've already chewed, right? This is new, whether it's good, bad, or indifferent. It's my experience. I feel I owe that honesty to you. I do. Not that I am casting shade, Honduran style, on any other reviewer, any other media outlet, or the fact that manufacturers do that. I mean, they kind of gotta talk to you about it, because all cigars pretty much look the same. The bands are different, the boxes are different, but they're all just kind of brown, different shades of brown, rolled up tubes of tobacco. So there's got to be a hook. They got to get you. They got to tell you a story. All right, salesman's got to sell. But I'm not a salesman. I'm a reviewer. I'm just going to tell you what I taste. But more cigars. America buys more cigars than any other country combined, than all countries combined, by far. Last statistic I heard just a couple years ago was 80% of all cigars consumed in the world, produced, are consumed in America. And so we smoke a lot of cigars. Here's an interesting fact, which you may not agree with. It may shock you. The number one blend of cigars is a Connecticut, or a shade-wrapped cigar. It's true. Now, only 3% of Americans, these are all older statistics, only 3% of Americans consider themselves cigar smokers when they're asked. Out of those 3% of the country, overwhelming 80-90% of those people who say they're cigar smokers smoke less than 5 cigars a year. I call them people who smoke cigars, not cigar smokers. Cigar smoker is a person who smokes a lot of cigars. Gets into the deep, gets into the broadleafs, gets into the Berganca, gets into the Mexican San Andreas. And I'm not casting shade on anybody that just smokes 3 to 5 cigars. Welcome. But you're going to do it on a golf outing. You're going to do it on a get together. You're going to do it on this and that. And you probably have not built up a palate for the heavier flavors. So you're going to grab a lighter stick and you're going to go golfing, or you're going to go fishing, or you're going to go tailgating, or you're going to go something like that. It's a celebration. Guys night out, bachelor party, all that stuff. And so that is sold more than any other cigars. The shades lately, not as much in the past little bit, but last year-ish, early of last year, maybe 4 or 5 years going back, it seems like a lot of manufacturers, not all manufacturers, a lot of manufacturers arrested production to where you can push a shade wrapper faster. You can cheat it. You can heat up the pilon, you can do some other things, and you can get it to go through the process, because it usually takes about 3 years to get a cigar from seed to cellophane. Right. And so if you're saying I'm selling these cigars to people who really don't smoke these cigars, smoke a lot of cigars, if I can knock that down to 2 years or even a year and a half, which is a hard push, I can sell twice as many cigars. Right? People are buying cigars. I want to sell cigars. And so they push. In doing that, you get the same color, you get the same quality in the construction, but your flavors get a lot more bitter. They get a lot more drier of the mouth. They get a lot more grassy hay. They're just harsher. To do a Connecticut shade wrap, it takes a while. You have to slowly cook. You have to crock pot it, right? You don't flat stone it. You don't, what is that? Black stone. You don't crank up the grill to 500, 600 degrees, 700 degrees and sear it and then just go, which is great for steak, but not for cigars, not for tobacco. You need to coax out those flavors. You need to take time to let the starches turn into sugars, and it takes a while, and it takes a lot of attention, a lot of patience. Shade wrapped cigars are much thinner. The actual leaf is thinner, and so you got to be careful how you handle it as well. If you do it poorly, you can also get construction issues. So you really have to take your time. If you want to do it right, like Mr. Rogers used to sing, I like to take my time a lot, and when I want to do it right, I like to take my time to do it right, right? So if you want to do that, you have to slow down. You have to crock pot this thing. You have to massage out that sweetness that's naturally inherent in tobacco, but it's quiet, it's shy. You got to let it come out. You can't scare it. You can't boom and make it just pop out. You got to let her eat. And this has that sweetness, that inherent sweetness. I'm not picking up grassiness or hay. I'm not picking up bitterness. The blend itself, I can taste there's a little bit of minerality, a little bit of black pepper, a little bit. Flavors run across your tongue like gravy. They just coat your mouth. It's really smooth. Some manufacturers also came out with what's called Shade Plus, where they put a heavier blend in the wrapper, and so it's a little bit heavier, a little bit bolder, a little bit aggressive. This is not that. This has a full flavor of those flavors I was talking about, with a little bit of creaminess, a little bit of like over creamed, over sugared coffee, just a little bit in the mix. But this would be a great cigar that I would smoke first thing in the morning, later in the evening, maybe my last cigar, next to last cigar. If I've been smoking a lot of cigars during the day, which I smoke a lot of cigars when I smoke cigars, just kind of give me a good flavor. It doesn't make me want to grab my drink. It just has a good taste to it. And the construction is fantastic. This is my second one, and it's doing like a champ. So if you like those flavors, if you like that experience, if that's something you might want to jump into, why not get into one of these legacy brands, the Hoyo De Monterrey Shade, that Honduran Puro. If you get one, you try one, leave me a comment, tell me what you think. I would love to know. I'll see you later. Later, Tater.